This is the meeting of the Parking Authority of Fairfield being held on Tuesday, June 18th. Time is 7:04, and the meeting is a special meeting being held via conference call bridge.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eileen. Hello, everybody. This is Rich Fitzgerald here. Good evening. I know, Eileen, thank you for circulating the agenda on Monday to all of us. In that agenda, the first item here is just the approval of the April 25th, 2024 meeting minutes. I know I reviewed them personally. I did not have any comments myself. I'm not sure if others did. If there's no other comments, I'll make a motion here to approve them.
Second.
Okay, thank you, David. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Next on the agenda here is just our standard Parking Authority office report. I know we're in the middle of our permit renewal, and Eileen, we're excited to hear your thoughts about how we're doing. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So let me start off with, car counts. I don't have them. The LPR has been down for a number of weeks. PD does have a car now, and we're arranging for the install with the vendor. So I'm hoping that we'll have that up and running again in, like another week's time or so. During this period, though, the special officers have been out there with the handhelds doing all the tickets, and prior to my fall, I was out there with them, kind of working with them and trying to help them out, because it's quite tedious to do it that way, but it can be done. And they've been really hanging in there and going through it, so it's been good, but we just don't have car counts. For the FY24 parking stats, I'm just going to give you it's almost at the end of the year. On average, we have about 710 parkers a day. Now remember, that includes Fridays, which brings the average down because Fridays are really, really quiet. I would say there's 300, 400 cars on a Friday. So if you take that out, it would be higher. The highest count we ever had this fiscal year was over 1,000. It was like 1,025. For day parkers, month to date, we've had about 125, and 92% of that is at Fairfield. Our year to date, that fiscal year to date, daily average is around 220, and again, remember that that's factoring in a Friday, which is the low days. Tuesday seems to be the busiest. Wednesday and Thursday are busy. Monday's pretty close to Thursday's numbers, and Friday's kind of off on its own. For permit stats for fiscal 24, that's the year that we're ending now, we sold about 1,950 permits, with 87% going to Fairfield. This represents 2% fewer than fiscal 23 and 11% fewer than the pre-COVID time. For FY25, we started the permit renewal season in May. The portal opened May 15th, and to date, we've sold probably about 950, maybe a little less in Fairfield, around 150 in Southport. We have a number that are still in progress. That's people who have renewed, but they may have forgotten to upload a DMV registration or some kind of document. So as soon as they get that in, their renewal will be processed. And after June 30th, we'll of course have our out of cycle, people that come in, the old wait list kind of thing, that come in, and plus the student permits will start being offered on August 1st. So the number that I see right now, I'm anticipating a low of 1,500 by the end of June, but then it would be climbing as, going forward into those first few months. Keep in mind that in 24, fiscal 24, we had about 2,000 permits, a little under, that were sold. So we're definitely under, and that concerns me a bit. I just don't know how much under we're going to be just yet, because I need to see what happens the next week and a half. And you might say, well, a week and a half is, just a few days, but that human nature, a lot of people leave it to the last few days. So I think next week, after we have the June 30th numbers, I'll send you an email and just let you know where we're at. But right now, we are under where we were last year at this time. Are there any questions on the FY25 permits?
Thank you, Eileen. I can tell you I'm probably one of those delinquent individuals, but I am hopeful that post January 30th here, the numbers do start to come in and hopefully are more in line with FY24. Does it make sense to send out another reminder to people, just given it's after school, school's over? Okay.
We will be doing that on Monday.
Okay, good.
We've sent the first reminder went out in beginning of June, which was 2 weeks after the portal was open, and then we will send one again on Monday saying, this is the last week, please ensure. If you're having any, problems or issues, call us, and, any which way we can help them out. So yes, we are planning another reminder.
And also people, if they really needed to, they could come into the office as well to renew, right? No, it's not.
They have that option. Yeah, they have that option if they would like. It's easiest to do it online, but some people would rather physically be there and receive a receipt in person. So that's fine. If that's what they want, they can come in and do that.
Okay, good.
I also wanted to bring up that Trinity lot. Our lease with them expires June 30th, and I've been talking to them, and they asked me our interest, and they were hoping that we would want to renew. As I mentioned to Rich, the usage is low there. It never really filled up, even in the pre-COVID days, but it was quite full, and now it's been very low. I would say, our highs are a dozen people, but we have seen a lot of days at Southport where the, both eastbound and westbound side are full completely, and that's when it rolls over into Trinity. I feel, given the cost of the lease and the good relationship we have with Trinity Church, it may be worth, renewing, because if we don't, we have no means for those, 10, whatever it might be, 5, 15 people. We also have a couple of tenant spots there that, the tenant pays for. So I think it's worthwhile doing for the year. The cost this year was $13.5, and I don't think that's going to make or break our bank. So my suggestion is that we renew it, but I'd like to hear from the board, because I'll need to be informing them one way or the other after, this week.
I always think if you feel it's good to renew it, then I always go with Eileen's advice.
Thank you.
I agree. I mean, you said 10 to 13, and you meant daily, right? are parking in there
Yeah.
right now? Okay.
Yeah, Friday, of course, is
Right.
empty. Sometimes we have like 2 people in there. But Monday,
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, there's usually anywhere from a couple cars to I've seen as many as 12 or 15. So I hate to give it up. It's not like Mill Plain where we have ample room. We have seen Southport completely full.
Got it. Okay. Well, I think that seals it, But Mike, you were going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, and my feeling is that if you pay for a permit and that's the train station that where you park, that I think logically there should be a spot to park.
Right.
Now, again, that may be flawed logic, but somebody can go to another train station and get a park there. But I think that's what getting the permit gets you, is that you'll be able to park your car predictably, whenever when you take the train in. Now, there are only 12 cars, and so I guess that makes the discussion a little interesting because, well, there isn't a great need. But again, I submit if there's only 1 car parking there, that we would need to have that lot a little facetious, but you understand the point. Now, the question is, because we're not using it to the extent we used to, is it possible to, and I'm just going to say gently, propose some sort of reduction in the fee because we're not, we're regularly not using the number of spaces that we needed, so we don't need as much, we're not using as much of the lot, so could you logically just propose it with a smile on your face and say, how about a 12.5 or some other, a number that's lower than what we've been paying. I'm just proposing it. I don't
give
know
up and give back and take a smaller part of the lot.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Proposing?
But again, I'm sort of talking out of both sides. Talking out of both sides of my mouth. We need to have parking spots, and then we'll take up a smaller part of the lot. But I'm just throwing it out there to bat around.
Yeah, I think if we could say that we don't need, this side or whatever, then that would make that available to their nursery school and so on. I don't know. I don't know if they'll go for that because it's an L-shaped lot, and so it's kind of got like a hard boundary, but
yeah.
I could talk to them about it. It's up to you guys as a consensus what you would like to do. Does everybody feel that it's worth asking?
Why don't you, I think we want to renew, but I think just given some of the uncertainty that you highlighted before, let's see what available options there are. So if there's even a possibility to split it up somehow, or I don't even know if you can, Eileen, given the area, but
I know.
I don't want to lose it all together, but I also want to be mindful that if there's a way to have a compromise. But how many spots do we get within that? So are we at like 10% capacity, 50% capacity?
I have to look up the number of lots. I forget them off the top of my head.
Okay.
I want to say that it's like 60 or 70 spaces.
Okay. So
I'm just guessing. I really should look. I shouldn't guess. I should just look up.
But it's less than the full amount, and maybe they've been approached for available spots. We know what parking is a premium. So I think the general consensus is we want to renew, but investigate if there's any option to subdivide or is it all or nothing,
Yeah, the best case scenario I think would be that, hey, we're on average, we use on the most popular days it's 20 spots that we use. We like to have the ability to use all of them, but on a regular basis right now, we're using a lot less than that. So kind of that flexibility to So it's not even subdividing it. It's more, hey, let's pay for what we're using on a regular basis, and then if that increases, we could talk about some sort of increase. I don't want to overly complicate this. I'm just doing my duty as a board member to ask the question. That's all.
It is 64 permit spaces and 16 day spaces. So actually 61. So just say 75.
In the Trinity lot, Eileen?
In the portion we rent.
Yeah, right. Got it. Sorry, Rich.
Not the whole lot. They have the bulk of it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like an L, and we have that left part of the L that's against the tracks, and they have the bottom part of the L that goes out toward the corner of Pequot.
Got it. Okay.
When you pull in, if you ever go in there, you see immediately train parking signs, and then you see the church and the nursery school signs.
So if we were to let's say we were to give back, let's say, or have a reduced amount, because I don't know if we could have our cake and eat it too.
No.
Right.
I think they probably want to do a pro rata, and but let's take this away as a follow up. More importantly,
okay.
When does the lease come due? Remind us again.
End of this month.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk to them this week, and I'll see what they're open to.
Okay.
I don't if it's it's all or nothing. I don't think it's the worst thing because they're being very accommodating with trying to hold the rate for us.
Right.
And they like us being there, and vice versa. So it works pretty well. It's a good relationship. All right, I'll talk to them, and I'll let you guys know what their thoughts are. So can I move on to my last thing?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about some small improvements. One of the things is, and this is something I had wanted to do way back, and I don't know why we didn't do it at the time, but I really like to add section signs to the Fairfield lot. And I know a number of people have said it over the years, they forget where they parked. And so what I'm thinking about is not every pole, but maybe like the front pole and the back pole in any given row, and not every row has poles, and have like maybe they're like section A1 and then section A2, and then the next couple rows over would be section B1 to B2, that kind of thing. So they would be nothing large, but big enough for people to see. It won't have much printing on it, so I think we can get them fairly inexpensively. I remember when we did the actual permit signs, when we repaved the lot and all of that, they were like $26. That also had a lot of print. I don't know what the price would be. I imagine, of course, everything has gone up, but with less wording, it could be that could be a savings. So I'd like to call the company and just get a general idea, but I think it's going to be well under $1,500 because we don't need that many. I think there's 15 rows with poles, and so I'm thinking probably somewhere around, and then add some sections along the track. We could probably do it for 35 signs in total. So I was just wondering what the board thinks about that idea.
Being one of those people who wandered around the parking lot the other night, I totally agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I again, if I defer to you, Eileen. So if you think it's it's a good idea and it's necessary, then you always got my vote.
Okay, thanks. I think it would be helpful to people. I think certain people park in the same spot every day, but that's usually the first couple rows. The people that are parking out further,
yeah. Okay.
And people who are there infrequently, they're not permit holders. I think it would be helpful because not all of them park in day parking.
Okay, it's a great suggestion.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll get a quote on that, and I'll let you know. And the other item was the striping on Carter Henry across from the station house. So this is the Naughty Dolphin side. The striping along that little bit that runs from Miller Street, or is it Sanford? I think it's Sanford. From that point down, only on that one side, a number of the spaces the paint is completely gone. And so I've noticed many times where people are kind of taking like 1.5 spaces because they don't know. So I think, and those are prime spots that people love to park in because you get off the train and you're right there. So I'd like to find out, it's a very small job, but there's a company we've used a number of times, including for these small things, and I don't really know how much this would be. I don't know what their pricing is today, but I know it's going to be well under $1,000. So I'd like to price that out, bring it back to the board, and see if anyone has any objection. But I do feel that those spaces in particular, and I checked, and they're not paving Carter Henry anytime soon. Otherwise, if they were, like let's say they were doing it in the spring, then I would say let's just wait. But I don't believe it's on the list for the immediate future. I'd have to ask again. They could be changing things around, but right now I don't believe it's on the it's anything in the next 6 months.
Okay. Okay. Seems reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the positive customer experience. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, and then otherwise, everything else is going well. We have all of our cameras. All the upgrades were made. We have fiber running to 3 of the stations. The last station will have fiber probably sometime in August or early September. The holdup is because you have to petition for rights for them to access the UI poles. And so there's a set period of time that they have to wait before they get that response. And once they have that, we'll bring fiber over to the stations, which is a huge benefit versus the cable modems. So that I'm really happy with that, how that's going. And I think that's it for me. If anyone has any questions for me, it's been busy times. The office is busy with the permits and people coming in and lots of calls. But, we're trying to keep things moving along as best we can.
I'm good, Eileen. Sounds like you have everything under control in the team. So we thank you, and unless the other colleagues here have any other comments, I think we're good.
Nothing for me.
Okay. With that, it's 7:29. I'll make a motion here to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, David. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a